sisters. Salakia, on behalf of my town, running behind due to traffic. Traffic was a mug. This is the California ISUPK Lashawan Qadash class. The Lashawan Qadash stands for Holy Tongue. This is a biblical tongue given to us by the Lord, passed down to our forefathers. And since 1969, the ISUPK has been teaching the truth of the Bible and has been teaching the Lashawan Qadash and many other things. We have other classes during the week. We almost have a class every day. We have classes from Monday to Saturday. We have a history class that starts at 1 p.m. I believe Monday. Tuesday we have a brotherhood class that starts at 7 p.m. and ends at 9 p.m. Wednesday we have a law class that starts at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Thursday we have scripture breakdown, and that starts at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Friday, the Lashawan Qadash, which starts at 7. Slaki on my time, like I said. And, we do this, and, we have the Sabbath service, which starts at 9:30 to about 11:30. It's around that time. But we do this, we have classes all through the week to educate our people, to get them in, to get proper understanding of who they are, the culture that they are supposed to follow, the laws that they're supposed to keep. It's all about keeping the commandments. In the ISUPK, we teach that the truth of the Bible, and this is the home of the truth. So what you want to do is you want to start getting in classes, get with somebody in your local area. We're in California. We're in San Bernardino, actually. If you want to come to class in San Bernardino, our address is Salakia. The address is Salakia. Salakia. I can give that to you in a second. I'm kind of confounded right now. But we are in San Bernardino, California, and you can get with our nearest camp leader or some officer, and we can get you in these classes so you can get proper understanding. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and erase this off this board. This is some art that one of the brothers did, as you can see. Some Israelite stuff. I'll take this down. Oh, Salakia, it's 246 East Highland Avenue. It was coming to my head. I'm like, Salakia, 246 East Highland Avenue. If you are in the San Bernardino area, so you can get in the class. Today we're going to be working on the tribes. We're going to go ahead and going into the tribes. Right now I'm going to start with the alphabets. I'm going to go ahead and write it. I'm going to start with the ancient. If you do need a chart, go ahead and put that in the comment. I can send you a chart via messenger, and I can also, if you are on YouTube, I can send you a chart on YouTube. But all you have to do is on YouTube, put your email in, and after the class, because I can't really keep up with it. After the class, I can go ahead and send it over to you. It's no sweat. So you can go ahead and follow along. You do this at home with yourself. The Lord says, study and show thyself approved. That's what you can do. You can go ahead and start studying. And this is your history. So it's a beautiful thing to go ahead and get to your heritage, learn your culture, the language that you spoke and how you wrote it. So, it's very important. Let me go ahead and share this. Salakia. Let me go ahead and okay, let's get that going. Doing a little sharing real quick because we want all Israel to get this. This is our language given to us by the Lord, unlike the language that we were given by our oppressor. We're so proud about the language that we were given by our oppressor, but not knowing the language that the Lord gave us to speak. And we have to get back to our culture, our heritage, the language that we spoke, the food that we ate. Like in the law, it says we are not supposed to eat shrimp, crab, or lobster. These are things of the law. And you will learn that if you were really into the truth. And unlike the Christian church, they do not teach you about these laws. They tell you to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and they think that is fine. They tell you that the laws are done away with, but they still ask for tithes, so you better question that. Well, okay, I digress on that, but so I'm going to go ahead and go into the alphabets. I just want to share this and get this out there. Please like, share, subscribe. We're going to go ahead and teach our people our history, but I'm going to go ahead and start with these alphabets. Oh no, I always do that. I don't know why I do that. Probably need a different marker. Let me know if you guys can't see this. Give me a quick second. Change that marker. Let's see how this works. Get a better marker real quick. Well, I guess you can't see it. It is legible. Let me just see. Well, I got something a little brighter. I got like I said, I can't get you a chart, so you can take it home. You can study it. Learn how to write in your language. Wow, ra, sha, da. Go ahead and write it out. The sounds. These are the sounds. This is unlike the our colonized language, the alphabets that we were taught. We write from right to left. In the English language, you write from left to right. So it's totally different. So you see how I started off. I started off writing from right to left, and this is how it starts. I'm gonna go ahead and do the sounds. Yeah. Okay, these are the sounds. I'm gonna go ahead and start sounding them out for you. This is ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, kha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, kwa, ra, sha, ta. Like I said, if you guys need a chart, you want to take this home, go ahead and put it in the comment board. You go ahead and put it in the comment board. I can send it off to you. Okay, I'm gonna go back into the sounds for y'all. This is ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za. See, there's a ka sound. This is a ka. There's a similar sound in here, but it's not the same at all. This is a ka. You hear the tongue rolling like ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, kwa, ra, sha, ta. And this is the ancient. If you don't know, this is the ancient alphabet right here. This is the original writing. There was one written after that, which is the Assyrian, the so-called Jewish man, which he's an imposter. He likes to write in the Assyrian. We also know the Assyrian too. So if anybody wanted to combat with that, we teach the Assyrian too as well. But this is the ancient right here. I'm going to go ahead and go into the Assyrian after I get done right here with the ancient. I'm just giving y'all a little time. If you are writing it down, that's Tawab. Tawab means good. And the Lashawan, you'll learn. If being in the ISUPK, you start to learn words, your language. This is things that your ancestors said back in the days of old. This is how we spoke. These are words we said. Even some of the old Negro spirituals will let you know that we were speaking in the Lashawan, like the Kumbaya, all that. There's like words that we were saying back then that was in the Lashawan, even back in slavery. So understand this is your language. So it is an awesome thing to go ahead and get this down, get edified on it. Like I said, if you need a chart, you can go ahead and do the homework on it. Learn your history. Do not be so proud to be like, oh, I got my degrees in this, but you don't have a degree in your nation and who you were. You have the degree that your colonizer gave you, which really means nothing because there's a lot of people unemployed with great degrees that amounts to nothing, just collecting dust on the wall. But I digress on now. I'm going to go ahead and go back into the sounds, and then we're going to go ahead and go into the Assyrian. I'm just going to do this one more time. This is ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, qua, ra, sha, ta. And those are the sounds of the Lashawan. I know it sounds similar like to I, A, B, C. The reason why it kind of sounds similar with the I, ba, because, our oppressor, he's a great imitator. This has been there before the so-called ABC, before you were colonized and learned these languages from these people. So understand this was the language that was out there before, but it is written from right to left, unlike the English language where it's left to right. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this down, and I'm gonna go ahead and go into the Assyrian. Yeah. So the Assyrian. All right, that big. That's too wild though. That arm straight. Probably should have wrote that a little down. We should be too loud. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and write out the sounds. The sounds are exactly the same. It's just that these are different characters in the alphabets. The Assyrian is not comparable to the ancient, but the sounds are the same. Wait. Ka. Ooh, okay. I'm missing one. Salaki. I'm missing the alphabet. There's a Ka. I'm missing the alphabet. I know I was missing. Za, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Da. Okay, the Assyrian's a little bit different. I'm gonna go into that in a second and show you what these are. These are actually double characters for one word, but I'm gonna go into the sounds and then I'll explain it briefly with you. Okay, this is A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Kha, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Tza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Da. And those are the sounds of the Assyrian. These are the characters of the alphabets. And like I said, each one of these words, some of these words have double characters. It's the same word. I mean, it's the same sound, but it has a different character and it's used in a different part of the word. This character, this top character on this double character, because this is the ka is a double character. This character right here is used in the beginning or the middle of a word. This ka is always used at the very end of a word. Like la ka, you would use this, since ka was at the very end of the word, you would use this ka. You know, and if you were using kapar, like that's my name, which means he is clean in the Lashawan, you would use this ka, in the beginning of the word because it's in the beginning of the word. This one is always used at the end. This one's used in the beginning and the middle of a word. This one's always used at the end. We'll go into that when we start to writing out the words. I'm going to go ahead and go back into the sounds. This is A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Kha, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Tza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. And that's how you would write that. Hey, shalom to everybody out there watching. At the water for staying tuned. Please like and share the class. We do want everybody to get edified. And like I said, if you guys do need a chart, let me know. I can send you one via messenger. You just request it and I'll send it to you. I'll send it to your messenger. If you are on YouTube, just put your email in under the comments. I'll try to send you one briefly when I can get to the comments and take my time right now. We're right here writing this out. I'm gonna do the sounds again, and then I'll tell you about these again. So just in case you didn't catch that, says ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, qua, ra, sha, da. Those are the sounds. Like I said, some of these words have double characters. So this pa, let me select you. That pa, this is a pa also. This is just a double character. But this pa is used in the beginning. The top pa is always used in the beginning or the middle of a word. This pa is always used at the very end of a word when you are writing it out. So be mindful when you are writing in the Assyrian. Remember that there is a double character. Just in case you are looking at the chart or you start getting it down, there is a double character. And where the double character is used is very important to give the proper understanding of a word and where it stops at. Because this one's used at the beginning or the middle of a word, and this one's used at the end, very end of a word. Like this would be, you would write, like I'm just giving an example. This would be like you would use this one when you're writing out Tazaria. And this one would be this Tazah would be used when you were writing out Katazah. When you're writing out Tazah, you would use this Tazah. You would use this character. But other than that, if you're writing Tazariak's name, you would write this first character. This would be the character used. You was writing Katazah. You'd probably you use a ka, and you write Tazah. This would be the character used because it's at the end of a word. So you just be mindful of how you would use these. I'm gonna go ahead. I'll give you a second. I'm gonna go ahead, erase that after a second, and then we're gonna go into the tribes. Good night. Rip paper. We are working on the tribes tonight. Just in case you are an upcoming officer and you want to start writing, you want to start learning because you got to learn Lashawan. You want to just follow along. This class is going to be cool. I'm gonna run through it with you. I'm gonna have one of the brothers come up here. He's gonna exercise his penmanship on writing out the tribes. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase this, and then we're gonna go into the tribes. Okay, no sweat, sis. I'll send you one. Oh, gee, God. These are what am I doing? I don't know what I was writing. Why? These are the 18 nations. Go ahead and write them out. The crazy thing about this was before people getting into the truth and the understanding, they wouldn't understand that these nations that we speak about today are actually in the Bible. When you're talking about these people, they were specific people. So it's good that you guys are tuned in so you can see who these nations we are talking about and who we are dealing with biblically and physically. When we day to day as we walk on this earth, and we are on these four corners of this earth, you'll see these nations and you'll start to understand these are the same people in the Bible. Okay, I'm gonna start with India. India, their name in the Bible would be Elam. Yeah. And this is how you would write it out in the Lashawan. We're writing it out in the it's sounded out in the English, so you can write it out. But the sounds, like how you see the I yalam, you would see that, but you're gonna write it. This read out. This is just how it's written out in the English to sound it out. But it's gonna be also written out in the Lashawan. So while you see it's written out from left to right, we're gonna write it out from right to left. So like you. Assyrian. It's the nation of Syria. They would be Ashur. This is how you would write it out in the Lashawan. War. The next nation is Syria. The nation of Syria is Iran. So you write it in the Lashawan. This is how it would be sounded out in the Lashawan. I haven't written in the Lashawan yet. I'm going to write over here in the ancient. Yeah, I'm going to write over here in the Assyrian and the ancient in these words. And just in a brief second, I'm just writing them out for you. Lakia. Arab. The so-called Arab is Ishmael. Those Arabians that you see in the store, they're Ishmaelites. This is how you would sound it out in the Lashawan. Ya, Sha, My, Ah, La. The next nation is Chinese. You wouldn't even know that the Chinese man was written in the Bible. He is from the tribe of Moab. This is how you would write. This is how you would sound it out in Lashawan. Ma, Wa, An. No, Salakia. That's a Ba. Ma, Wa, Ba. The next nation is the Japanese. The Japanese is Amun. Nation of Amun. That's how you would sound it out. Wan. The next nation, the so-called white people. The so-called white people. So-called white people would be Edom or Esau. You would sound it out. Ba, da, wam. The next nation would be Israel. nation of Israel, we all know that. Hold on. Nation of Israel is Israel. How you would sound it out in the Lashawan would be Yah, Shar, Ah, La. Next nation will be Ethiopia. Ethiopians. The nation of Ethiopia would be Cush / Ethiopia. Because you know that's in the Bible. Sound that out just to sound it out in the last one would be Ka Wash. Egyptian. The nation of Egypt would be Mazariam / Egypt. To sound that out, and the last one would be Matazarium is how you would sound out Egyptian in the Lashawan, but I'm going to go ahead and write it out. Afterwards, I'm just writing down the nations. Bear with me for a second. North Africa. North Africa would be the nation of what? How you sound out the nation in the Lashawan would be Pawat. Pawat. South Africa. The nation of South Africa would be Canaan. Sound that out will be Ka Na N. Let me see if I can get this other one in there. French. The nation of France would be Gamor. This is how you would sound it out in the last one. Ga Mar. If I slide one under it, this nation would be Russia. I guess I ain't got enough space. Or maybe I wrote a little too big, but I'll go behind and I'll write the rest out. I got just 4 more nations after this. The nation of Russia would be Magog. How to sound that out is Ma Ga Wa. Okay, I got 4 more after this, but I'm gonna go ahead and let the brother write out these so far, and then I'll race out and I'll do the last 4. You wanna come up here, write them out. No sweat. Wow. Water means thank you. Let me know if you guys can see them all. Let me just put that camera down a little bit. Let me see. Slide this back a little bit. See, you know what? Could you start with the? You don't have to write them under each other. Just write them side by side.
Okay.
Just write them side by side because they're all in a row. You're gonna get people confused. Just write them right next to each other. Start with the. Let me see. Let me see the. Let me see that real quick. Start with the ancient. Oh, I'm sure. I don't know why I added all that. That's not needed. Ancient. Just write the ancient like right here, and then write the Assyrian right here. Just go down in a row like this. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
For each word. Like I said, if you guys do need a chart, let me know. Put in the comments. I can shoot it to you via messenger, or I can send it to you via email. You would just have to put your email down in there, and I'll send that to you. Simple.
Get myself in the phone.
You all right?
I'm doing a little bit of underneath.
Oh, you spread it out far out?
Yeah.
Erase it and start to tighten it up. Just tighten it up a little bit. You all right? You're getting way better at your writing, too.
Wow, so.
So I'm saying, you have to do this consistently. You just get better and better. Best part about it, what I see is a beautiful thing. This is our heritage. So this is how we wrote in the ancient days, the days of old, and we will be carrying out this writing when the Lord comes. We will be writing back. We will be speaking back in our language and give the oppressor back his old language, and he will be working. We're gonna have him speaking in Lashawan. How we learned this language from our oppressor, we're gonna be teaching them the kingdom, but they're gonna be working for us. That's why it's so heavy to get back into this truth and get proper understanding. Understand that we are a great nation. We are the Lord's chosen people, and we should act as so. We shouldn't be out here getting high. We shouldn't be out here sleeping with whores. We shouldn't be out here being whores. We are a great nation. And this is why the ISUPK is very important, because we are taught that we are great people. And you notice, and if you know you're a great person, you're gonna react like a great person. You won't be doing half the stuff that we do in this kingdom. We will be preparing for the kingdom that the Lord is preparing for us, and we will be doing the work to prepare the kingdom as well. Maybe here, I'll get it for you. I might be able to write a little bit better. No, you too wild. You're doing a great job. I just want, I know everybody's sitting there looking at it. They're going to be like, what?
Yeah, too small.
Let's just work it out. We're going to get it good. We're going to work it out. Yeah, but, if you are up and coming officer, this is good to learn these nations and learn how to write them. We're writing the Assyrian. I'm going to start on the Assyrian because, we are writing from right to left. So this is the I. So you're going to start off with the I. All right, look, I'm doing the big too. Let me see. I, Ya, Lam, Ayalam. And since it's you see the Ma on the end, since it's this is the last character of the Ma right here on the end of this Ayalam, I'm going to use the second character of the Ma. So if you had the chart in front of you, you would understand what I'm talking about. This is the second character. I'm using the second character like I was speaking about when I was writing the alphabets. This is the second character because it is used at the end of a word. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and write it in the ancient. I Ya, Lam. That's how you would write Ayalam. I'm going to write Assyria. Assyria. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the A. The A. The Sha. Asha. The Wa. And the R. That's how you would write Ashawar in the Assyrian. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. This is A, Sha, Wa, Ashawar. 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 That's how you would write that out. You have a chart in front of you, it makes it a lot easier. Next word is Iram. You sound it out, Aram. So this would be the A again. This would be the A again. This is the Ra. And since the Ma is at the end again, I'm going to write out the second Ma. That's how you write Aram. I'm going to write it out in the ancient. This is A, Ra, Ma. Oh, Salaki, wait a minute. I'm not doing the connectors because there are connectors in the ancient. Okay? So this is the I. Oh, I need some more space. Okay. I'm gonna show you, I'm writing this corner, but bear with me. Okay. When you see this right here under it, that makes it, when you see it looks like a sad face, that makes it look, that's singular. That's singular. And when you see this right here, when you see that under the ancient, that's a connector. That connects the words. That connects the sounds together, right? So this is I, Ya, Lam. Those are connectors. That the La and the Ma were put together. So that's the connector Lam. That makes it sound Lam. Okay, the next word is I again. That's singular, right? Sha. That's singular. You see how these dots, it gives a sound like ah, sha, and then the wa and the ra are put together. So that would be the connector on that. Asha war. And the same as aram. This is the ah. This is the ah that makes it singular. The ra and the ma were put together. Ram, that's the connector right there. Makes it ram. If you guys got that. If you do need a little more understanding, I can't give it to you. But like I said, if you see those, remember, this is a singular sound that makes the sound the ah. The connector puts the ram together, the ra and the ma together. That's the connector that would be on there, the ram. And it's written from right to left. So remember, the ah, the ra, and the ma. Ra, and that makes ram. If that makes any sense, go ahead. I'll work with you. Okay. The next word is Irab. The nation of Irab is Ishmael. And that's Yashama Allah. So we're gonna go ahead and write. We're gonna start in the Assyrian. So we're gonna go with the Ya, the Ya, the Sha, the My. Remember, okay, since this is in the middle, you were gonna write the first Ma. So it's gonna be My, Ah, Ah, La. That's how you would write Yasha Ma Allah. That's how you would write that in the ancient. I mean the Assyrian Slavic. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it in the ancient. I say Yah, the Shah. Uh-oh. I messed up. Give me a second. Let me fix this. I messed up. We'll go ahead and correct that. Correct myself real quick. The Shah. Shemai, Ah, La. That's how it's written in the ancient. I mean the Assyrian Slavic. Now this is Asha, my, La. That's how Yasha Ma Allah is written in the ancient. This is the Ma, the Shah. Okay. This is the Ma, the Ya, Salakia, which is singular. The Shah, which is singular. The My is connected because the Ma and the I are connected. That's connected. And then the Ah, singular, and the La, singular. You see, because it's written like that. The ma and the I are two different words. The ma and the I are two different. They're not the same. If you have a chart in front of you, like I said, if you need a chart, go ahead and put it in the comment board. Put your email in, and I can send it to you so you can follow along a lot easier. But if you are on Facebook, go ahead and just put it in the comments, and I'll send it to you via Messenger. No sweat. So you can follow along. It makes it a lot easier when you're at home, unless you write it out with me when I'm doing it right in the beginning, because I do like writing out the alphabets to start it off. Okay, so the next word, the next nation is Chinese. The nation of the Chinese are Moab. The word for Moab is Ma-wa-aba. So we're going to start with the Ma. Since it's at the beginning, we're going to use the first Ma character of the alphabet. That's the Ma, the Wa, the I, and the Ba. That's how you would write it out in the Assyrian. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. So this is the Ma. This is the Wa. This is the Ah. This is the Ba. Ma, Wa, Ah, Ba. And these sound Ma, Wa, Ah, Ba. So you have that the Ma, that's singular. Remember, this when you see that, that's singular. So it has the sound. See how they have the dots in between these? So it's the sound itself. Ma, Wa, Ah, Ba. So that's Ma. This is the Wa. This is the Ah. And this is the Ba. Those are all singular. And that's how you would write that out in the ancient. This is how you would write this in the Assyrian. Now I'm going to go to the next nation. The next nation is Japanese. The Japanese are the nation of Ammon. The way you would sound it out in the Lashawan is I, Ma, Wan. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it in the Assyrian, and then I will write it in the ancient. So this is the I. And since the Ma is a second character, you write the first Ma, because there's a double character in the Ma. So you're going to write the first character of the Ma. That's the Ma. This is the Wa. That's the wa, and this is the na. Remember, okay, now the na, the na also has the double character. Since the na is at the end, you're gonna write the second character. That's the second character. So that's how you write down. Let me fix that right there. Okay, now I'm gonna write it out in the ancient. So it's I, ma, wa. That's how you would write it out in the ancient. But you gotta remember there's connectors. So the I is singular. The ma, that's singular. The wa and the na are put together. That's the connector right there. I, ma, one. That's how you would write that in the ancient. The next nation is the so-called white man, which would be Edom / Esau. How you write that is Adawan. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and start out in the Assyrian. The A, the Da, the Wa, the Wa, and the Ma. Remember that this is the second character of the Ma. So you're gonna write the second character of the Ma on there. That's the second character of the Ma because it's at the end of the word. You only use the second characters on the alphabet when you see it's a double character when it's at the end of a word. And I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. So it's da, wa, ma. Now I'm going to make, this is the which makes it singular. The da, that's singular. Wam, the wa and the ma are put together. That's the connector right there. That's the connector. So wow. That's how you would write Adawan. The next nation is Israel. The name for Israel is Israel. Now, to sound it out in the Lashawan is Yasha Allah. Now we're going to go ahead and write it out. That's the the Ya. Shar. Ashar. La. That's how you would write it out in the Assyrian. Ya, Shar, Allah. That's how you would write it out in the Assyrian. Now I'm going to write it out in the ancient. Ya, Shar. Bring that up. That's all perfect. Ya, Shar, La. Okay, that's singular. The Ya, that's singular. The Shar, the Sha, and the Ra put together, that's your connector right there. This is singular. The La is singular. That's how you would write that. That's how you would write Ya, Sha, La. This is how you would write it in the Assyrian. This is how you would write it in the ancient. The next nation is Ethiopia, which is the nation of Cush, Ethiopia. How you would sound that out in the Lashawan is Qadash. Now you would write, I'm going to start with the Assyrian. This is the Ka, That's the wa and the sha. That's how you write Qadash. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. This is the ka. This is the wa. And this is the sha. I'm doing the connector. This is the ka, which is singular, and the wash, which is the connect. It's connected. I'm writing a little bit smaller so I can make room for this one because I'm kind of writing that up. Ka, wa, wash. Ka, wash. That's how you do the connector. The next nation is Egyptian. The name for the Egyptians are Mazarine/Egypt. And how you would sound down the last one is Ma-Tazarium. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out. Remember, in the Assyrian, this is the Ma is a double character, so you're going to write the first Ma. That's the Ma. And Tazah, since it's not at the end of the word, you're going to write the first character of the Tazah as well. Tazah, not Tazah, the R, the Ya, and the Ma is at the second. There's a second character Ma because it's at the end of a word. Remember, the second character is always used at the end of a word. You're going to use the second character now. And that's how you write Matazarium. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. So it's Ma, Shazah, spin it out. Shazah, Yum. The Ma is singular. The Tizar is the singular word with the R, Tizar. That's connected. The Tizar, the Yum is connected as well. I'm going to put a connector on that. That's how you would write Matazarium. This is how you write Matazarium in the Assyrian. This is how you write Matazarium in the ancient. The next nation is North Africa. The word for the nation for North Africa is Pahat. How you would sound that out in the Lashawan is Pawat. This is how you would write it out in the Assyrian. Remember, the Pa is also a double character. So you're going to use the first character because it is in the beginning of a word. That's the Pa. That's the first character of the it's a double character, so it's the first character, the Pa. Now you're gonna write the Wa. The Wa and the Ta. That's how you write Pawat in the Assyrian. I'm gonna write it out in the ancient. That's the Pa, the Wa. This is the Ta. That's how you write Pawat. Since singular and the Wa and the Ta That's connected. Makes watch. That's how you would connect it. Oh, anybody else? I sent that. No sweat. Okay. The next nation is the South African. The South African would be known in the Bible as the Canaan. This is how you would sound it out in the Lashawan. Canaan. Canaan. This is how you would write it. And this is how you would write this in the Assyrian. That's the Ka. And this is this Na has a double character. Since it's in the middle of the word, you use the first character of the Na. That's the Na, the I, and there's another Na at the end, and it's another double character. You use the second character because it's at the end of a word. So that's how you would write Ka, Na, In. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. This is the Ka. That's a Ka. This is the Na. This is the I. This is the In. So the Ka is singular. The Na is singular. The IN is connected. I'll write that a little better because I know. Getting this back there. Okay, now I Cha the Na. That's how you would write that. Remember, this is all this right here is the Assyrian. This right here is the ancient. Just going down the road. I got 4 more missing, so I'm gonna write those out. I just didn't have enough board. Bear with me. The next nation I'm gonna write out is the French. The French, in the Bible, they were known as Gomer. Gomer. And how you would sound it out in the Lashawan is Gamar. So I'm going to go ahead and write it out. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the Assyrian. That's a Ga. The Ma, remember the Ma there's a double character. So you're going to use the first character because it's used in the beginning, in the middle, and the second character is used at the very end. You're going to use Ga, Mar. That's the R. Ga, Mar. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. That's the Ga, the Mar, the Ga is singular. The Ma and the Ra are put together, which makes Mar. That's how you would write that. That's the connector. You change that M. That M looks Yankee. A lot. Does it look bad? Yep. Because that's singular. You have a chart in front of you, it makes it a lot easier. You're understanding. The next nation is Russia. The name for Russia in the Bible was Magog. The sounded out in the Lashawan is Magawag. So I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the Assyrian, and then I'll write it out in the ancient. So this is the Ma. Remember, the Ma is the double character. I always keep reiterating that because if you have a chart, you understand what I'm talking about. If you need a chart, let me know. I can send it to you via messenger or via email. I mean YouTube. And if you want it from YouTube, you would have to send me your email address and I can send that to you. But just bear with me because I'm in the middle of the class. But at the end, I always go back through it and I can send it to you. It's no sweat. So I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the Assyrian first, and then I'll write it out in the ancient. So remember, it's Magog is the nation, which is Russia. And how you sound it out is Magawag. So the first word, the first sound is Ma. And in the Assyrian is a double character. You would use the first Ma. So you go Ma. Because using the beginning, the Ma. And you will go Ga. And you will go Wa. And you will go Ga. My God. Let me write that over. Let me scoot that over a little bit. Kind of getting over into. That's a Ma. Ga. Wa. Ya. So you write that. And that's how you write it in Syrian. I'm going to write it out in the ancient. So it's Ma. Ga. Wa. Ga. So it's Ma, which makes it singular. The Ga, singular. And the Guag is put together. That's you put a connector on that. That's what connects the sound. Ma Ga Wag. And bear with me, I got 4 more nations to write out. I'll have the brother come up here and write them out. Y'all take your time if you need to write them out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase that. Because I do have 4 more nations that I do need to write out. Just as long as you guys got those. And, you can always put in comments if you guys do need those charts. Even if you need the nations chart, I can send that to you. It's no sweat. And you can work on that. The last 4 is this one is the Greek. I guess I can write that kind of big because there's only 4 more. Yeah, the Greeks that were spoken in the Bible will go by the name of Javan. And the way you sound it out is Ya Wan. The next nation will be the Germans. The nation for the Germans in the Bible is actually the Ashkenaz. And how you would sound out the Ashkenaz And Lashawan is Ash, Ka, Nas. The next nation would be Spain. The nation for Spain in the Bible is Tarshish, like it, Tarshish. The sounded out in the last one is the, Rosh, the Rosh, Yash. The last nation on this 18 nation chart is Italy. The nation in the Bible is Kittim. All these nations are in the Bible. The sound of the mountain, the last one is Ka, the, Yum. I'm gonna have the brother come up here and he's gonna write it out in the ancient and in the Lashawan. Slaki. You can write out in the ancient and the Assyrian. Okay. Get it done.
Oh, come on.
All it takes is practice. You know, you stay at it, working at it, starts working for you. Practice, do what they say. Practice makes perfect. 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 Yeah, practice makes perfect too. But it makes perfect. Which okay. What time did you? Okay, I see. I see it. Okay, I see how you doing. It's just a little difficult because you ain't writing out how I was writing. No sweat, but I work it out, people. I sent out a couple of charts, you know. Social comment, display here, clicks, okay. That's right. All right. All right. So you write it out. I'm gonna go ahead and write it the other way. For my brother, exercise penmanship, so y'all can all see it aligned. This is Yawam. I'm gonna go ahead and write it in the Assyrian first. I mean, in the Assyrian first. So this is the Yah, right? The Yah. Oh, yeah. The Wah, it's not like that. The Wah and the Na. Remember, the Na is a double character as well. You use the last character of the Na because at the end. Ear ringing. That's how you write Yawam in the Assyrian. That's how you write Yawam in the Assyrian. I'm going to write it out in the ancient. The Yah, the Wah, and the Na. Remember, the Yah, singular, because it's by itself. The Wah and the Na put together, you connect that. That's how you would write it out in the ancient. Now, the next nation, German. The nation for the German is Ashkenaz. How you spell it out is Ashkenaz. Now, I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the Lashawan. I mean, in Slaki, in the Assyrian. I don't know why I keep saying the Lashawan. That's the Ah. That's the Shah. That's the Ka. This is the first character of the Na because it's not at the end of the sentence. That's the Na. And that's the Za. That's That's the Za. That's how you would write that out in the Assyrian. I'm going to go ahead and write it out in the ancient. So this is the A, the Sha, the Cha, the Na, the Za. This sounded out the Ash, the A, that's connected. The Cha, singular. The Na and the Za put together, that's a connector. That's how you would write that out in the ancient. The next nation is Spain. The nation for Spain is Tarshish. And how you would write it, sound it out in the Lashawan is Darash Yash. So we're going to go ahead and write it out. We're going to write the Da out. We're going to do this in the Assyrian first. It's the Da. It's the Ra. The Sha. The Ya. And the Sha. That's how you would write that out in the Assyrian. And now I'm going to write it out in the ancient. The Da, that's the Da, the Ra, the Sha, the Ya, and the Sha. I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is the Da, which makes it singular. The Rash, that's the connector. The Ya and the Sha put together, that's another connector. That makes Da, Rash, Yash. That's how you would write that in the Assyrian. Now I'm going to go to the last nation, which is Italy. The nation for Italy is Kittim. How you sound it out in the Lashawan is Kataya. So we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to start in the Assyrian. This is the Ka. No, it's around it. That's the Ka. Let me see. It's around it. That's the Ka. The Da. The Ya. That's how you would write that in the Assyrian. Now I'm going to write it out in the ancient. The Cha. This is the Da. And this is the Ya. The Ka, singular. The Da, singular. The Ya, singular. That's how you would write it out. And if you've been following along, that's the 18 nations. We wrote them out. We wrote them in the ancient. We wrote them in the Assyrian, and we wrote them in the ancient. Go ahead and erase them. Like I said, if you guys do need the 18 charts, I can give that to you as well. Take them home and study them. I'm going to get down to the alphabet and work on it. But we will have this class next Friday. Same place, same time. I'm Officer Kapar. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakathum to the brothers, Yahweh Shamar, Eladah Bahashem, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Shalom.